start moving. No one's looking. It's me and you, baby.
Time and time again, it's the beat over and over and you dance. As if no one's looking, it's the beat. As if it's your last chance. It's the beat. You submerge yourself in the beat. That controls your mind, your body, and your soul.
3 girls.
It's the beat that makes you dance.
4.
As if you'll never grow old. The beat that makes you sway. The beat that makes you move. It's the beat that makes you sway and the beat that makes you groove. Time and time again as we dance in the darkness, we surround ourselves by the beat. It's the beat. We surround ourselves by the beat as we move freely. It's the beat. Infinite intensity. It's the beat within its heat.
Perpetual motion is the key.
The freedom of movement, the freedom of dance. As if no one's looking, as if you had your last chance. Because you've now been captured by the beat. The beat. It's the beat. It's the beat.
Go back to our box. Charlie Brown. Still with me? I'm 64. Hang in there, baby. I see you. Come on, girl. wanna dance.
The freedom of dance. The beat. The freedom of movement. The freedom of dance. It's the beat. The freedom of dance. The beat. The freedom of movement. The freedom of dance. It's the beat. The freedom of dance. The beat. The freedom of movement. The freedom of dance. It's the beat. The freedom of dance. The beat. The freedom of movement.
Woo! Woo! American as apple pie. The beat. Where you going? Where you going? Come back here. Box. Ready to go? Hit this corner. Corner. This 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 corner. That corner. This corner. Right here. This corner. We're gonna freak this corner. Right here. This corner. I feel this corner. You know what? I think I want that corner. Okay, we're going to stop that right there. Although I wouldn't mind having a heart attack now. You know, I often say that if something was to happen to me right now, if I am chosen to leave this earth right now, I will leave this earth a happy person. Why, you might say? Because I did what I wanted to do my way. I know that sounds like a cliche, but I had to work with what God gave me and make the best of it. For a long time, my identity was my camera. No one knew or wanted to know who I was. I go to a place, there's no girl saying, you know, I want you, I want to take him home. Well, there has been a couple of times in North Carolina when the big girls do, because there was something special that they were looking for, and they say, he look like he can do that kind of work. And after the time, I could. You know, so, you know, when I finally made a decision to put down the camera, and venture out on my own, it was a very hard thing for me to do. I have a lot of anxieties, and often the time, you know, I get very uncomfortable and very nervous and very anxious in environments that, you know, I'm new to, mostly because of the reaction I get from people who are in there. For instance, like, if this was a room of brothers, and I walk, and they laugh and talk and kicking it, blah 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 blah, talk about the game or whatever, la 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 la. If I walk in and say, "Yo, what's up?" Dead silence. Stops. The whole conversation changed. I feel like I'm infringing on their space. I've always considered myself too black to be white and too white to be black. You know, there were times when I was accused of being a police officer because of the way I talk. And when I was moving too fast, that worked just fine. Oh, are you police? No, I'm here. Do this. Oh, okay. Yes. Pow. Well, take another one. Make sure you're not police. Another one? Oh, okay. So it did have its benefits, if you want to call them that. And often the time when I travel around with girls, even my moving too fast phase, you know, I had girls around me. Mostly because I thought it was the saddest thing in the world to me to see a girl who has given her money all night to a pharmacist. And when the sun comes up like this is the saddest time of day to a street entertainer who's been working all night. Because she may not be as successful for finding a client, but yet and still, after giving a pharmacist maybe hundreds and maybe $1,000 throughout the night, she can't go to his door and knock on his door and say, look, I can't get anybody. And he says, okay, baby, here. You know, they don't do that. You know, so it's very sad this time of night, this time of day. And this is the day I capitalized on. You know, I pulled them together. I had about 7 girls. And often the time, this was the time when I was the pharmacist, because there was a lot of young pharmacists who either sleep out of merchandise, and my connect delivered to me like about 4 in the morning, so that made me like the only person around in town. You know, so I would stop in places that were already had the traffic and hit the house off, and then do what I got to do till somebody wakes up and say, who's that? You know, then I say, look, I can come in my car, be right back, and take off. But I would get a hotel, whichever one of the girls got a hotel first, or motel first, that's where my office would be. I would drive around the motel, and they would put a sneaker in the window or put a shoe in the window, and I knew one of them was there. Or I'd drive around and go, boo-boo, boo-boo, and see if one of them comes to the window. Once they did, I would set up there, and they would come. When they came in like this, the first thing I made them do was eat. Because I learned that you know, if you don't treat your body right and take care of your body, you can't do what the things you're doing. You can't, and it won't happen. So then they rest. They took showers, and you know, when they got up, you know, they started off with, you know, what it was they need to move fast, and we laughed. We had a good time. we had parties. It was funny how they tried to get me for organized prostitution in Amityville because there was just so many that I had control over, but so many of them I was loving. Because you see, because even the worst of people need love too. And I want to stop here and say that if you're still out there in that world, there's somebody out there who loves and cares about you. And the only thing they ask of you is to pick up the phone and call and just let them know you're all right. That sounds very easy, but sometimes it's the hardest thing in the world to do is just to say, hey, I'm all right. Rather than let them continue on wondering if you're dead or alive. So, do that. And it is possible to change your life. I'm living proof of that. So with that being said, we'll finish up tomorrow. I'm gonna do it tomorrow too. This is my new exercise routine to dance with you. We'll turn it this way so it'll be a little more light on it. And maybe do different parts of the house. Okay, so remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly and always pull someone up. And sometimes, I'm a Superman, right? Sometimes you're the only one to see a vision. And the best revenge in life is to live good. I'm living good today. I hope you are too. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singer of the Temptation One song, treat her like a lady. And I love you like a love song, baby. Last night, my housekeeper, Joy, and her daughter, Kathleen, we went to the festival. It's very nice. I took pictures of her. I can't help it. I can't help it. I love photographing girls. And we took some great pictures together, and we had a good time. They went on the fair as well. But, I want to thank them for tolerating me, an old man like me. And again, I'll be in Cebu for the 4th to the 6th. Hope to see you, and those who I reached out to come get your copy of your magazine, please do so. Okay. So with that, if you haven't got a dream, a goal, an idea, a train of thought, don't worry about it. Do what I used to do. Get as much as you can, as fast as you can, and go home. And remember, I always love you more. I'll talk to you later. Don't forget to subscribe, and as Ellen Bayou would say, and hit the bell. We'll talk to you later. Peace. Check out Twitter too.